train emerging from the one built by Brunel in 1859 carries its passengers out of Cornwall and into Devon.
The area is rich in history. Out in the Plymouth Sound, a ferry passes the island named after the man who played the more genteel game of bowls. And from the Hoe, Sir Francis Drake still scans the horizon for any armada. And the choice of the Pilgrim Fathers for their club crest has this week seemed especially appropriate, as Argyle seek their own new frontiers.
Fantastic. The interest has been unbelievable. It's been a slow build-up, really, for about 10 days. And there's every chance that we're going to have a full house on Saturday, which will be marvellous.
The last match before the big day brings the committed and the curious to sample the different atmosphere and the local delicacy.
I'll have one of those pasties, please. How much is that? 40. Do they have another name, or they just...
There was a lot of people queued all the way back. In fact, I think it went all the way down back to through Central Park, if I can remember. Yeah, there was there was a lot of people wanting tickets, and it was tremendous.
The place was just buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
That's the ticket. £4 now. Was it worth the wait?
Worth all of it.
Yes. Worth the wait. Yes.
On behalf of the city, you've just seen for yourself the feeling that exists in the city. We're with you. No, we want you to knock some of the arrogance out of Watford. Best of luck.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
So it's a great occasion for both sides, and that's what the FA Cup's all about. It's about dreams. And all these lads are dreaming. And let me rephrase that. I mean, there's going to be an awful lot of reality in 90 minutes' time or whatever. But it's been a great passage, and it's been a great dream for them, and I'm sure none of them would admit, let's face it, that at the start of the season, they'd all be sitting here now.
Absolutely. Well, we've brought a mascot for you, Lee Cooper, the skipper. Who else but Gus Honeyburn, Esquire? I'm sure he's going to bring you lots of luck this afternoon. Are we going to see him out there on the pitch this afternoon?
Yeah, I think we might take him out. Yeah, we'll take him out.
OK, well, you know that we wish you all the best of luck, lads. We'll be with you there, and let's see you through to Wembley.
At the semi-final stage, it doesn't really matter who we get. It's not a question of us being a first division side and Plymouth being a third division side, because semi-final everyone's going to go hell for leather for it, so it's going to be a difficult match.
An absolutely tremendous achievement for a third division club to get the semi-final. I mean, we're actually talking about probably only 5 or 6 previous to Argyle, and the reason that we're watching them is the same as we watch every team in the cup, because you've got to win that game. I mean, if it comes to the semi-final, yes, there'll be extra time if it's drawing, then there'll be a replay, but somebody has got to win.
Come out of the change room and bumped into Graham, and he shook me by the hand and said, you know, all the best, that you always do, wish each other all the best. And I can remember him shaking like a leaf, and that gave me confidence.
Well, now the team news. Plymouth's number 3, John Uzel, was declared fit this morning after a groin strain, so it's the side which won at West Bromwich Albion in the 5th round and which beat Derby in the 6th. But the main news concerns Watford, because Kenny Jackett was ruled out today with a thigh strain. So Captain Rostron, himself doubtful until yesterday, switches to number 10. And 20-year-old Neil Price, who was on loan to Plymouth, of all people, for a month recently, plays his first FA Cup tie at left back. So there are 7 players in the Watford team, aged 21 or under, and no player on either side has ever played in an FA Cup semi-final before. What a remarkable moment for 37-year-old John Hoare, the Plymouth manager, who only left Bideford in the Western League 6 months ago to take over at Home Park, where he was a player with Plymouth for 14 years. Graham Taylor, who took over at Watford in 1977, and they were in the 4th division. Nice moment there between the two managers. He's just agreed a new 6-year contract to stay at Vicarage Road. He's built more than just a team, he's built a club. And now the FA Cup final, which he never made as a player, beckons him and Watford. And the referee this afternoon, taking charge of his first FA Cup semi-final, is Joe Worrell of Warrington. And Mo Johnston, the Watford discovery of the season, 21 years old yesterday, with George Riley, he gets the semi-final started. Watford are playing from right to left. That was Bardsley. Number 6 is Lee Cooper, the Plymouth captain. Busy midfield player. Uzel is the left back. Tynan now. Steve Terry. The pitch looks in good condition. Had it watered, there's plenty of grass on it. And Villa Park, always a stately home for semi-finals. It was nicely laid off there by Tynan to Rodgers. Andy Rodgers takes on Bardsley. They've got players in the middle. David Phillips arriving. And Plymouth launch the first threat. They're not very tall, the men who will be looking for the header, but Uzel will go up onto the goal line. It's been taken quickly and crossed, and Staniforth nearly got in. Bardsley did. Gordon Nisbet. Lindsay Smith had a fling at it, didn't get hold of it, and it was Price who'll want to get into the game early. Says he likes the big occasion though, and he's played in the UEFA Cup, Neil Price. Hodges, Nisbet, nicely round. The big question on this side of the field is, can John Barnes win the match for Watford on the left flank? Nisbet, Hodges. Nisbet to Lindsay Smith. Hodges again, took it down nicely. That's Staniforth. It's back inside again, Rostron cleared. And a good, purposeful start here by the 3rd division team. Tynan. Staniforth. Lee Cooper. Rodgers had moved into the centre then. Hodges. And Rodgers is there again, trying to turn Bardsley. And Tynan's on the near post. Can he tuck it back? He did to Nisbet in the end, and the drive, I think it caught Steve Terry as it went through. It's a corner. Nisbet, the player who had the shot. Good effort. Now Rodgers, the outside left, who scored direct from a corner at Derby, remember, is going to take this one. Away by big George Riley. Nisbet again. Another deflection off a Watford player. Lindsay Smith! The first half chance. They hadn't really cleared it, and the deflection carried the ball into the path of Lindsay Smith, who, as we saw at Derby, is dangerous in that area of the field. He hit the post and bar that night. Well, then he skied the ball over in this semi-final. Little John Hall wondering whether his team would freeze. Well, the early signs are they haven't. Smith with Riley. Hodges. Sinnott. Taylor. Barnes. Terry. Nisbet. Sinnott. Finally it comes to Hodges. Now Staniforth. Nisbet forward. Back by Price. All a bit untidy at the moment. But here's Barnes. Riley's coming towards the near post. Oh, he got a fleck and it's there! George Riley came in and Watford are in front after 13 minutes. John Barnes, the man they thought might win the match, got away on the left. Riley stayed over on the far side. He timed his run perfectly to meet the cross and Watford are in the lead. So, the third division underdogs, having started so well, find themselves a goal down. But here's Rodgers. And that was awkward for Steve Sherwood, it's a corner. Now, a test of the Plymouth character. Can they settle them down? Uzel has gone up for the corner, Cooper's there as well. And the flick on was by Uzel and Tommy Tynan's in there as it... Oh, and the shot by Hodges. And Watford living dangerously. How vulnerable a team is when they've just scored. And from that scramble, Plymouth on another day might have snatched an equaliser. Flags up on the far side, referee has let play go. This is Les Taylor trying to get round Lee Cooper, and it's still Taylor. He miskicked it. Riley didn't. Saved by Crutchington. Good effort on the turn by George Riley, but Jeff Crutchington, who actually began his league career with Aston Villa, back on familiar ground today, made a fine stop, and he's kept Plymouth in the game. Sinnott, the youngest player on the pitch, only 18. Callahan, three waiting in the centre for Watford. It's a good cross, Johnston! Well, when you talk about Watford, you talk about wing play, and they're real wingers, not just midfield players or converted fullbacks. They really do attack the line and get the crosses in orthodox fashion, and it makes for opportunity and excitement in the area. Callahan the provider, Johnston just too high. Staniforth turning and finds Hodges. Good position here, took it early and just wide. Watford were caught square and sleeping. To Phillips, and here's Tynan, nicely laid off that by Staniforth earlier. Here's Rodgers. Plymouth have got 6 players forward in this attack. Rodgers on the ball, Tynan. Good effort on the turn by a player who began his professional career with Liverpool but never got into the first team, Tommy Tynan. Halfway through the first half, and it's Mo Johnston for Watford. And the cross turned away by Nisbet. Johnston again, headed back across, and Nisbet's header out. Rostron, and now Barnes. And Price has come forward, turned away by Crutchington, and put in on the far side, but the flag up, Nigel Callahan's effort, wiped out for an offside. The red flag there of linesman Roger Dilks, who spotted the player in the offside position, and it doesn't count. This is Sinnott. Oh, Barnes, away by Harrison. Header by Sinnott, now Price. Phillips. Rogers. Cooper's made a run forward here, number 6. He's in a good position, but Les Taylor did the right thing. Who says there's no Watford midfield? He had to go back and defend against Lee Cooper. It's a corner to Plymouth, been played quickly, and Hodges! It was played short to Staniforth, a nice chip in, and Kevin Hodges' flying header not far away. Good stuff from the 3rd Division team. And it draws a mighty response from the West Country fans. It just seems as though Watford have got the greater momentum when they play the more direct football, which is their trademark, but Plymouth have had some good moments and their build-up has been measured. Riley's in there. So is Mo Johnston with the overhead, and John Barnes. Callahan. Riley. Rostron's down that right-hand side as well. This is Bardsley. He lost out to Rogers, and now it's Tynan. Plymouth looking to come square with Lee Cooper. And he's got Hodges outside him. Staniforth's coming to the near post, but the ball just ran away from Hodges. The man who made the break from midfield was the captain, Lee Cooper, who's already had 3 or 4 surging runs from that position, and it's forcing Watford's Les Taylor to go back and mark him. Barnes. Riley, and Barnes is off again, pursued this time by Harrison. Watford have got 3 coming in from the far side. It's still Barnes, and it was going to be driven low for Taylor until Nisbet got in the way. Corner to be taken by Callahan. By Uzel. Callahan again. And off Nisbet this time as Plymouth defend in depth. Staniforth. And it's Andy Rogers trying to turn away from Callahan in the last 10 minutes of the first half here. Nisbet for Plymouth. Surging forward. Fine run by Gordon Nisbet. Was he fouled by Lee Sinnott? Play on, Rogers and Staniforth. That could have gone anywhere, the clearance by Bardsley. Probing run by Gordon Nisbet from right back. Rogers. Still Rogers, and Lindsay Smith bumping and boring by Riley there. Lindsay Smith felt he might have had a penalty. Joe Worrell had a look and said no, and there's no sustained protest. They know each other so well, old adversaries, but also former teammates at Cambridge United. Rogers. Plymouth force a corner again. There goes Uzel. Cooper will take it. That's up with the flick across, and Staniforth coming in. Almost made contact. Staniforth, the man lurking beyond the far post, coming in on the flick. It's over Johnston. Here's Rostron, and now Riley. And Barnes will try and make something of it for Watford. Headed out by Lindsay Smith. It's a corner to Watford right at the end of the first half. Here's Les Taylor. So at the halfway stage in this semi-final, it's the First Division team who hold the cards with a one-goal lead. Graham Taylor's side, who scored in their first dangerous attack. Plymouth Argyle 0, Watford 1. The unpredictable nature of the FA Cup illustrated by what happened to these two clubs back in the third round when Watford were 2-0 down at Luton, I recall, and Plymouth saved themselves with a last-minute penalty against Newport County. Often acts of brinkmanship in the early rounds lead to days of glory like this later on. Glory certainly for one team anyway in the semi-final, and often obscurity for the others. Don't often remember semi-final losers. It's Bardsley putting it back. And Plymouth for the moment losing this one by 1-0. And there's Riley taking a challenge from Lindsay Smith. Les Taylor a quick free kick, and it's released Mo Johnston. And here's Callaghan. The block was by Harrison. Staniforth trying to shake off Sinnott. And here's Nisbet. Terry. Just stumbling a bit there, Steve Terry, but recovering. Big test for him in a way, with Steve Sims, the first choice centre-half, on the injured list for a few weeks now. That was Smith. This is Terry again. A long ball pursued by Barnes. So often that kind of early ball forward forces for Watford, if not a goal-scoring opportunity, at least a throw-in or a corner. And they know how to use those. Price. They force a corner this time too. Anxious time for Plymouth, 5 minutes into the second half. They can't afford to concede a second goal at this stage. And Barnes flick on. That was bad timing by Lee Sinnott. His jump sending him into the back of Staniforth. So it's Harrison with the kick for Plymouth. There's Tynan. Smith is forward. Rodgers. Into Tynan, a chance here, and it was a drive by Staniforth, which he didn't get fully behind, I don't think. It needed really hammering that. And Sherwood saw plenty of it. Phillips forward. To Rodgers. Bardsley was quick. The flag was up. Uzel on Barnes. Lindsay Smith covering. Still on the transfer list, actually, Lindsay Smith. Tynan. Forward by Rodgers. Staniforth marked by Sinnott. And he's foxed him. And there are three in the middle here for Plymouth. And Hodges arriving, taken out by Price. Good defending by the 20-year-old in his first FA Cup tie. But Plymouth are moving well again. Cooper trying to get the flick on it. Here's Phillips. John Hoare knowing that a bit more momentum now, perhaps if they could just increase it by a gear, the third division team could still have a say here. Rostron tries to get Watford moving, a good break by him. So much enthusiasm about the way Watford play, epitomised by the burst then from the captain from his own penalty area. Here's Tynan. And now it's Uzel. Callahan. Staniforth to Cooper. Oh, it's a bad pass, but John Barnes stumbled a bit and Nisbet got it forward to Tynan. He does like to take his shots quickly on the turn, Tommy Tynan. You can see why last season with Newport he was the highest scorer in the country. Riley. Barnes. And still Barnes. And Riley just needed a touch out to Johnston. It got one then from Rostron. And Johnston's cross, and Riley goes in, and that's so close. And how it stayed out, only the people tangled up there will really know. The cross came from Mo Johnston. Riley got tangled up with Uzel, and the ball trickled wide of the post. Foul by Sinnott. Cooper finds Phillips for Plymouth. Oh, Steve Terry saw that. Went through two tackles. Les Taylor. Actually, Terry got hurt in that last challenge. This is Bardsley. That's meant for Riley. Harrison is covering for Plymouth. And with 15 minutes to go, indeed 15 minutes away from Wembley as far as Watford are concerned, they have an injury to Steve Terry, who emerged from defence there to go through two strong tackles and then got hurt as he got through a third. I think it was Lee Cooper, the last player that Steve Terry actually collided with. But Richard Jobson, the substitute, is warming up in case. Graham Taylor and John Ward, one of his coaches there next to him, knowing now, as the supporters behind them know, how close they are to Watford's first FA Cup final. Steve Terry is back in the action. Callahan. And again, Johnston. Harrison. That's one for Tommy Tynan to chase. Now, can they get anybody forward in support? Staniforth's trying hard, and they've got two coming now from midfield. One of them being Hodges. Cooper is square, number 6. Nisbet. Rogers. Taking on Price. Corner to Plymouth. Quickly taken, and Rogers and Cooper working it, and the floated cross headed back in by Staniforth. And a chance for Lindsay Smith, maybe. Steve Terry is going to hobble off with about 11 minutes left, and he'll be replaced by Richard Jobson, whose only other appearance in the FA Cup competition was for Burton Albion. Now, how are Watford going to reorganise? Will George Riley, I wonder, go back and play centre-half? They'll tell you at Northampton and Cambridge that George Riley can play at centre-half as well as at centre-forward, and it does appear that in the last 10 minutes of this FA Cup semi-final, the man whose goal may take Watford to Wembley has had to totally change his role. And they've moved Barnes into centre-forward and got Jobson on the left. Here's Johnston. And that was Barnes, who's moved now into Riley's position. There's Tynan. Cooper for Plymouth. And Rodgers making a spirited run on the left, blocked by Riley. Rodgers again. But he's switched from left to right, Rodgers, these last few minutes. Here's Staniforth. It's Rodgers again. Little ball in. Riley's header out. Staniforth with a chance. Oh, good tackle by Riley, the emergency centre-half. Nisbet. And Plymouth are having a good little spell here. Nisbet's cross. And Sherwood comes and misses it completely. Or rather, fumbles it, and Bardsley clears. Harrison back in for Plymouth. Header this time was by Les Taylor. Now Uzel. And Watford need to just get the ball down and control things a bit. Jobson takes on Nisbet. Jobson with a fresh pair of legs, remember. Steve Sherwood had an anxious moment then. So too did Graham Taylor. Forward by Harrison as Plymouth prepare for a defiant last gesture. Les Taylor, Rostron, and it's opening up here for Watford. They've got 5 against 4. Callahan. It's Callahan again. Taylor. Bardsley missed his tackle, but not the second time. Plymouth don't quite seem to know what to do with the throw. It's Uzel. Tynan is still willing. Riley still dominating in the air. Bardsley forward. Smith. And Riley again, he's performing heroics back there. Barnes a good turn, made himself some space and found Callahan. 3 minutes to go. Callahan skips past Uzel. 3 coming in from the far side for Watford, and he was taken on the edge of the area. Nigel Callahan, as he threatened to go by Lindsay Smith as well. So, time for a few words between Billy Hales and Graham Taylor there. John Hoare obviously feeling the sands of time are running out for him now. His team are defending, they're a goal behind, they've given away a free kick. And Callahan drove it. Graham Taylor's team less than 2 minutes away. Jobson to Barnes. A foul by Rostron. Plymouth have the ball. Lee Cooper forward. Header by Price. Are we going to have a dramatic finish? If we are, it's got to come from Plymouth and come quickly, because Lee Sinnott is in there to clear. Nisbet to Staniforth. And it's Staniforth. And he pulled it back for Hodges to shoot. And what on earth can you say about that? It was so close that that's sometimes the difference between getting to a cup final and getting knocked out. Staniforth, some trickery on the line. It was well conceived. And he pulled the ball back to little Kevin Hodges. And Watford was surviving there by the width of a goalpost. In the last minute as well. Barnes. That's Uzel. Lindsay Smith was fouled. We're coming into time to be added on for stoppages. This must surely be Plymouth Argyle's last chance. They're throwing everybody forward. It's aimed towards Lindsay Smith. And there's a chance here for Tynan. No, there isn't. Watford had pulled them all back apart from Mo Johnston. And the header on could find Callahan. And he could make for the corner. Gordon Nisbet. Just look at them on the bench. And on that one too, such a contrast in expressions. Here's Jobson for Watford. Lifts it back, and it's Uzel's half clearance. Taylor! Jeff Crudgington knows that time is almost up. Sinnott. Callahan. And they're going to want this to run through to Sherwood or Watford as John Uzel gets a spot of cramp for Plymouth. And the long kick being chased by Barnes. And Watford are through to Wembley for the first time in their history. George Riley's goal wins the semi-final and takes this remarkable story of Graham Taylor's club a stage further. But on the same day, as they celebrate, it's bad luck for Plymouth Argyle, whose third division challenge ended here with some dignity. But little John Hoare, the manager, has every reason to feel pleased with his team. At no time were they overrun, at no time were they outclassed, and at no time did they lie down and die. But Watford, it seems, cannot be stopped. Promotion from the 4th division only 6 years ago, then from the 3rd, then from the 2nd, then runners-up in Division 1, then through to Europe, and now with a team almost rebuilt in the last 12 months, Graham Taylor and Elton John have steered this club through to the FA Cup final at Wembley, and Graham Taylor's proudest moment surely as he goes to salute the fans of this family club. Only one goal in it.
It just wasn't meant to be. That's the way I felt. And I think if we had, if we had got a goal, I think we would have gone on to win it. Because of Tails, we were chasing the game after 13 minutes. It was a brilliant goal from their point of view. It was a great cross. George Riley just got his nose in front of Lindsay and headed a goal. Superb goal. But we certainly put up a good show, and it'll be in the old memory bank for a long time.
It's a big part of the club's history. It's arguably their greatest achievement. People talk about the playoff victory at Wembley, but then that was to come fourth in the 4th division. So you could say that coming fourth in the FA Cup would rank above or alongside that. So they'll never forget it here, and as long as anybody's involved with the club, you'll never be allowed to forget it.
And obviously during my managerial career, when I found Graham Taylor, he used to say, "Oh, Kevin Hodges," he says, "you've given me nightmares over the years because of the one that just went past the post." He said, "If that had gone in, it might have been you in the cup final rather than ourselves," he says. So I think he realised on the day that they were a little bit fortunate.